All right, welcome to video 2. At this point, you should have processed steps 1, initial processing, 2, and 3 of your orthomosaic. Remembering that we're using the default for step 1, the default for step 2, and in step 3, we wanted to turn on the raster DTM, so get the GeoTIFFs and the merged files. Make sure you took Google Map tiles and KML. And a GeoTIFF for your orthomosaic in step 3. And in your index, you didn't need to do anything. So we want to make sure we have this Google Map clicked in step 3 and that we have the raster digital terrain model clicked in step 2, in additional outputs in step 3. Again, step 1 and step 2, those are going to be processed at the default. This has already been processed, so assuming that you've processed it now, you'll come up and you'll have some image. It may look a little bit different. It may not be as clear. You may just have the tie points. But we want to clean this up a little bit for using, so let's turn off the processing. So if we hit the processing, we'll get a little bit bigger image. We may want a little bit over here more and a little bit less on this side. So maybe where you can see 2 images. Remember, if you left click on your mouse, you can move your image around. You can also, using the trackball, by depressing it, turn the image in 3 dimensions. And by rolling the trackball, you can zoom in or out. This will be helpful as you're trying to do this. One of the other things we probably don't need at this point are the cameras. And I usually turn off the rays as well. Now, if you remember from video 1, we're trying to match, you can kind of make out these ground control points. You can kind of make out the tape measure. You know there's one here. This is probably the tape measure here, yes. But if we turn on the point clouds, we can see a little bit better. And again, yours may be processing at the bottom. I've already done that. And I can move my image around. What we need to do now is create tie points. What we have created so far are what are known as automatic tie points, but we need to, in order to do scale constraint, we need to be able to put tie points down between all these images. So this is the one we're going to call scale 1, which, as you might remember, is 8 feet in length. So we're going to do scale 1. So in order to do that, we need to put a tie point down at each end so we can scale it. I like to zoom in. I'm going to grab somewhere towards the end of the tape measure here, and then I am going to create a new scale. Now you'll notice that I'm near the end, and you've done this exercise several times so far, so this should not be uncommon to you. This, as we scroll on it, says create a new tie point. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to create a tie point, but I'm not going to call it manual MTP, whatever number pops up. This happened to be the 14th time I've done this because I had to practice a little bit before I made the video. So I'm going to change the name of this to scale 1.1. And as you can see, the number of marked images right now is 0. So I want marked images on this point to be about 10. So if you remember, you can click on all these different images. Oh, I just set a scale point that I'll have to fix, but you can orange. You notice the orange going over it. And what I want to do is go on the first image that pops up, hit my space bar, and then zoom in and try to set where I think the tape measure is going into or ending. So I'm going to go around right there, and you'll see there's a green where it thinks it is. There's yellow as we zoom in, and the yellow mark is going to tell us where to put the scale. So this is a little off because I marked this one incorrectly before, so we're going to go into this one and reset that scale point right about the point where the yellow starts to disappear. Boom. And notice that the green has now gotten closer. You'll also notice that I've marked 2 images up here. So now I'll get the orange on this, and I will click, and oh, look at that. The green is pretty close. I'm going to move it over just a tad. with the yellow, and then I'm going to click the space bar again, and you'll notice I marked 3. Now I go to the 4, zoom in. Oh, now I can see better. I can see, oh, that's too orange, so I need to move this over here. And I am correcting. Now I've marked 4, and now I'm going to go into yet another image. That's pretty well done. Maybe move it just a little bit over. I'm still 4 because I corrected an image I've already done. So now I'm going to move on to this. Oh, and you can see, wow, I'm way off here. So as I move that, and I'm left clicking to pull that yellow over, I have another that I will do. And a little bit harder to read. I might move it over just a tad. And you'll now notice that I've done 5. So I'll move to another image. I like that one, but I will mark it so that I can get the images done. All right, now I'm going to move down to images I haven't done yet, and it's pretty important to watch your numbers. So this was taken with a Phantom drone, so DJI 0513. Hard to believe taking that many pictures. And as you can see, I'm still 5. So I need to go down to 0511. Your picture may be different. Oh, yep, here's one I can correct. That is kind of way off, and that should probably be right there. And you'll see I marked 6. Now I go over to this image, zoom in, like that one again, because it gives me a real good representation of where the orange casing for the tape measure was. And again, we only want to stay on the yellow portion. Go down to this one, and again, good image. Can move it over just a bit. Yours will be a little bit different, probably. And this is a nice image to do. Moved it over, and now I'm up to 9. Going to go down to another one. Move it over just a tad. You know, you can stop at 10. That's kind of the general rule, but you can see where you have little issues going on. You move these, you're going to get more accurate. So now I'm up to 11. What I'm looking for you to do is 10 images, and you'll start to notice on all these now the green X, which is the automatic for scale 1, is starting to get much closer. So let me go down to this one. I might do 12 on this one as just to set the example. It's a little off the yellow, so if I move it over a little bit, I'm going to get it closer. Now I have 12. Now at this point I have scale 1.1. It's a manual tie point. It has a feet. It's 12, and it gives you some more statistics. And at this point, I'm going to just hit apply. And now you'll see I have my point that has come up on here, my scale point 1. So now what I'm going to do is I need to get a point at the other end of the tape measure. So I am going to, again, do a new tie point. First, I'm going to click over here so I get that end of the tape measure because I don't want to set a tie point over here. And I'm going to hit a new tie point. Now, I don't want manual tie point or MTP 15. I want scale 1, but this is point 2. And now I need to go ahead and start correcting. So I want to do, as you can see, there's 0 marked images. I want to mark at least 10. All right, and then I can zoom in very nicely on the end of the tape measure, my best guess, and I will get a point. Skip to the next one, zoom in, go to that pixel, and then I just continue to set these tie points. Go, and I can see that one's nice and off, so if I set it over here, I'll get there, and then I'll set this one. And then another. And then another. And then another. And I can start to see them self-correcting and move I have 7, so I'm going to go down, and I'll see one there, so I'm not going to set that one. And I have some leeway in picking them, set it over just a little bit. until I have, accidentally clicked the wrong spot on that one. Remember, just hover it. Don't click the left click button or you'll start setting your points. And now I'm at 10. But again, because I did 12 on the other one, I'll do 12 on this. You should only do 10. But I'm just giving you as an example. You could do every picture. But there is a law of diminishing returns that we talked about before. So now we have 12 set. You get your measurements again. And you hit your apply. And you should notice here, let's move the mouse over on the left-hand side. I now have scale 1.1, scale 1.2, and then it tells you how many images you marked in the parentheses there with the 12. Once I've done that, I'm going to zoom out, and I need to do the other tape measure. So I need to find like close to the end, and you'll notice. Now I'm going to, again, hit my new tie point. I'm going to go a little quicker now. If you need to follow the directions, go back. Don't want that label. I want to call this one scale 2.1. And I don't want to hit apply yet. I got a little excited. But I want to go to the first picture and start setting my points down. I want to get the end of the yellow. Boom. Scroll over. Trying to get my best estimate here. Wow, this is a nice one. When you get this nice one, that's going to really help you. And to get the picture in and out again, I'm hitting the space bar. So I hover over it, turns orange, hit the space bar. I can zoom in by scrolling with my trackbar, which makes it nice. That's a good one. And you can see I'm up to 5 images now because I'm moving relatively quickly. You might want to move a little slower and really zoom in and try to get these as correct as you can. But for the purposes of this video, to not make it 3 hours long, you can always rewind and go back. I am doing it this way. There we go. It's a little problematic there. And you can see I'm up to 8 images. I'm only going to do 10 this time. Because again, you get that law of diminishing return. Now, something like this, here's road, so if you really want to get in there, you get to the end of where the yellow is. So right there would be much more accurate. But again, I'm moving quickly here. I have 9 images, so, that's a nice one. So again, I can zoom in really, and then I got the middle of the tape measure. I know where the end is. It's right there. So depending on the image is what you're going to have. Then I'm going to hit my apply, boom, and you'll notice over here I've scaled to 0.1. So what do I need now? I need to zoom out, obviously, zoom in over here. Try to get the end of my tape measure next to the casing. Create my new tie point. And I'm going to call this one scale 2.2. And don't hit apply because I don't have any images marked yet. So now I'm going to go ahead and start marking images yet again. Space bar. And you see the orange here, so I know the yellow ends about right there. I'm in the middle of the yellow pixels, so I'm trying to get as accurate as I can. And again, like I said, you would need to use RTK or something much more sophisticated if you were dealing with a fatality in an accident. But any accident is going to be able to get you, any normal accident, this would be an appropriate method that you could do with you literally could do this with probably a $400 drone. So you see I've set 6, so I got to keep going. And then this one, trying to move quickly here so as to not, you have to scroll down to get to the next ones. I don't like those. I like the ones with the tape measure because I just think this is a nice, you can kind of almost even see where that belongs. I feel like that guy on PBS who makes those, that's terrible, can't. There's a nice one. Sometimes the image that it picks, you won't be able to get the end of the scale. So again, space bar pulls the image up so I can hit it, pulls the image back. I have 10, so I can hit apply. All right, Now, as I said, we had to go in these GCP orders if you remember video 1. So I got to set points on each of these. So there's ways to do this. You don't necessarily have to have the tape measure there. I just do that to kind of as a demonstration. You could just have the ground control points on the ground where you have measured them when you laid them down. So what we're looking for here and trying to remember, and I'm going to turn it again and move it over, is we're going to start. It's a little difficult to see what that is, so I might turn on my triangle mesh. That didn't help me. So I might have to just click here and say, oh, that's number 5. All right, that's the first one I want to get. From 5 to 1, and we will remember that's 11 feet for later. So I have to set my tie point. So I'm going to turn on. Again, I want to make sure I'm there. I'm going to create my new tie point. This time, though, I'm not going to call it scale because it's actually GCP. So I'm going to call this one GCP 5 to GCP 1, because I'll remember then that makes sense to me. I know what that is. But I have to set, actually, GCP 5 to 1.1. I might even also could call that GCP 5, but I'm going to use several times this measure. So you can do it a number of ways. You label to the convention you like. I'm going to just call this GCP 5 because it's just a point in the middle of 5. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to set 10. So all I got to do, and I can zoom in here, I want to be directly in the middle between the two. So basically where the black squares come together and the white squares. That's how I do this. And this becomes really easy, which is why I like this model. Okay, it's always a little bit where it is, where it's coming together. There we go. And real quick, and you can see these start to come together relatively quickly. And I'm going to do this quick, but you should probably go slower when you're doing it. Again, I'm trying to keep this video down to something less than 40 minutes. Zooming in, you can zoom in as much as you want. You can say, oh, I think it belongs right here. And so you can get a greater accuracy. Okay, I've set 6, so I know that that's going to go here. And I like the GCPs better than the tape measure because you can kind of move a little quicker, get these done. And then once I get to 10, and again, like I said, you can do as many as you want. You sit here all day. I have 10. You'll notice number of marked images for GCP 5. Apply. And there we go. You see GCP 5 applies here. Now I need to go to GCP 1. And I'm just trying to find it. There it is. See, it'll all come up number 1. I'm going to hit my new tie point, and I'm going to call that GP1. Why 1? Because the number 1's on there, so it's easy to remember. Why didn't you do number 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, when you're out in the field, you just throw down what you have. Maybe that's sloppy. All right, I set a point. I'm going to move really quick through here. Set a point. Real quick. You might want to go slower so you get a greater degree of accuracy. I'm moving quickly again for the sake of the video. I think you have the concept. You click on them, space bar, go into the picture, set your point, hit the space bar again, go to the next one. Right now I'm up to 6. Get into the center. You shouldn't go this quick. You should go so that you're pulling them and you're getting the exact mark between them. That's the appropriate way to do it. But again, for the sake of time here, I'm going to go very quickly. Now what I'm going to do now, after I'm done this, is I am going to go ahead and not video it because, again, the length of the video. But I have my 10 GCP1, apply. So let's go back. I am going to, you can see now I have a point here. Now when I click here, that'll turn green. So I have all these. So I need to set the points here, 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 and here to accuracy. So I have all of these different points. In order to do that and keep this video less than 3 hours long, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video. I'm going to go ahead and set these points just like I did the other ones for all the rest of these, and so should you. That's the exercise, and in that regard, once you have those points set, we can come back to the third video and scale these. So go ahead, set the remainder of your points. If you need to remember how to set a particular point, how to do it again, watch the video from the beginning, but you're just applying what you learned in setting these GCP points to the remainder of the GCPs. Number them to the number that they are, so the next one I would create obviously would be GCP 4. All right, I'll see you in the next video.